Hello everyone, my name is Kiera, aka Kiera's Bookshelf. If you're new, then thank you for finding my channel. I hope you stick around, and if you are returning, then welcome back because I feel really excited about filming this video for you guys today. So in honor of it being December, I decided that I wanted to film the 25 books I want to read in 2025 tag video, I guess that's what it's called. And I'm really excited for this because upon making this list, I really started to get excited for the new year and for the opportunity to read these books. I've mentioned before in the past that my TBR is actually very long. I believe I have over 60 plus books on my TBR right now, and while I do plan on unhauling a lot of books to make that list shorter, the books on this list for this video are not any of the books that I want to unhaul, so I'm really excited for that. I'm also really excited to show you guys these books because I plan to do reading vlogs for pretty much all of them, I believe. If you have read any of these books, or if you plan to read any of the books that I am going to show you in this video in 2025, then please feel free to comment down below and just let me know. And I also want to say I don't really know when I'm going to get to these books, but I'm just really going to make it like my top priority for the year. So I'm going to start this video off strong by talking about the Shatter Me series, which I literally plan to read for at least the first half of the year. As you can see, I don't have the novellas, but I do have them on my Kindle, so I definitely plan to read those too. I have heard nothing but good things about the Shatter Me series for years, and I actually got this series last year for Christmas, and I don't know why, but I have been putting it off, and I feel like it's just finally time to rip the band-aid off and just read this series and see what it's all about. The best part about the Shatter Me series is that these books are not long at all. I believe they're about 300-ish pages each. So it's really bingeable, and I don't know. I know that it is like a dystopian world of some sort, and that is very exciting for me because I really love dystopian books, and I feel like this genre needs to come back in books just because it can be so fun, and I feel like there's so much you can do with it. I'm also really excited about this because this will be my first series that I will be reading by Tahereh Mafi, and I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna really like this series, and if so, then I definitely plan to buy her other books as well. So I definitely plan to get this done as soon as possible. To follow up with that, I do plan to read another series that has been on my TBR, I will say also since Christmas of last year. And so the reason I haven't really got to this book or this series is really just because I'm really scared of like what I'm going to experience when reading this book. This book handles a lot of like heavy topics apparently, but it also has fantasy and magical elements, and that kind of confuses me a little bit, and that will be the Poppy War Trilogy. I have been trying anything and everything to avoid spoilers for this series just because I really want to be surprised as far as, you know, what I'm getting into per se, but I do also know like just basics that there are like some trigger warnings when it comes to this series. I honestly cannot tell you much about this other than the fact that I know it has to do with a war that actually happened in Chinese history, and that's just all I know. And I kind of like that I'm going into this blind just because I feel like if there is something that I read in this book or in this series that surprises me, then I will be able to capture my most authentic reactions to it, which will be good. This is also going to be the very first series that I have read by R.F. Kuang. I think this will be a really interesting book for me to experience. I feel like this series also being at the very beginning of my list will be kind of a good thing because I feel like I can start my 2025 off right by reading these books. So I'm sure you can probably see from the missing books on my shelf that the next anticipated series that I plan to read in 2025 is the entire Throne of Glass series. Just looking at this stack just gives me so much temptation because this is so freaking beautiful, and I feel like the only reason why I haven't read this series sooner is just because of the reading order debate. So I have decided, I mean, as you can see, Assassin's Blade is first, so I'm going to read it first. I know a lot of people say you can read it after Crown of Midnight or Heir of Fire, but that you have to read it before Queen of Shadows. And I personally just feel like reading the Assassin's Blade first can kind of give me that emotional damage that I am looking for, because I did hear that reading the Assassin's Blade first is the emotional reading order, and yeah, I really, really want that. So Throne of Glass has been on my TBR for a very, very long time. I actually started to collect them after I read ACOTAR, and I know that a lot of people have read Throne of Glass first and Crescent City last. Me personally, because I didn't know anything about the SJM universe starting out, I actually started with Crescent City first, and apparently there's Easter eggs of every single series in every book. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to catch the Easter eggs, but I do wonder if maybe if I start reading the series, maybe I might want to reread ACOTAR or reread Crescent City. I'm not sure, but I am really, really excited for this. I know that the main character is an assassin named Selena Sardothian. I also know that there is a main character called Aelin, and I'm really, really confused about that. I hope I got the name right. I do know that Throne of Glass was SJM's earliest series that she's ever written that has gotten published, and apparently she wrote this series when she was like 16, so it is a YA series. I'm not sure if later on in the series it gets, you know, spicier or not, but honestly, I'm not the type of person that really needs spice to read a book, so I'm really excited for this, and I think I'm really going to like it because I heard that there's like a lot of like medieval and like Game of Thrones types vibes, and I hope I'm right. So yeah, I definitely am just really, really excited to read this, and it has taken me so much willpower to just not start reading it, you know, every day. I just really think I want to enter 2025 on a good note and just, you know, just know that I am going to have really, really good content for my channel. So the next two books that I want to read in 2025 are The Priory of the Orange Tree and A Day of Fallen Night. And I will definitely say this series is huge. Like, it's crazy to think, like, I really want to read both of these books in 1 year, and they're about 800 pages each. Oh my gosh, and I don't know why, but like, it scares me so much. I really think the only way that I will be able to get through these books without DNFing it again would be to just give myself a daily reading goal for these. Hence why I have like tabs here, just because this book is so intimidating, but I really want to be able to read it without burning myself out. If I read 100 pages a day of both books, then I feel like that would probably be the best way for me to be able to like digest what's going on. And so I am just really, really excited for it. The only thing that I know about this series is that there's dragons. Apparently it's sapphic. And yeah, I think that's it. I think it kind of gives off like Game of Thrones vibes, but I'm not sure. From what I read a little bit of A Day of Fallen Night, it seemed like there's a lot of like royalty and things like that in this book, and so I think that's interesting. And I also know that A Day of Fallen Night takes place I believe 400 years before Priory, and that Priory is known to be the one that a lot of people will read first because it's the easiest to digest. And so that is why I will be reading Priory of the Orange Tree first the next time around, and then I will just wait to read this one just to see if it was in fact easier. Apparently, A Day of Fallen Night focuses a lot on world building and like backstory stuff, whereas Priory at Orange Tree, I heard, kind of just jumps right into the action, which for me I think is probably going to be the best introduction to the series the second time around. And I'm not upset about, attempting to read A Day of Fallen Night and then DNFing it, just because I knew that I would eventually come back to it. So I am very excited for these, but also very, very scared. So the next two books that I actually plan to read are a lot shorter, and I think that that's going to be really, really fun and just a lot more digestible than Priory or A Day of Fallen Night, and that is the Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows duology. I have had these books for about a year and a half now, and I don't know, I've heard a lot of good things about them. I just haven't picked them up, and I don't know, I know that there's like a magical typewriter or something, and that it is apparently a love story, but that's all I know, and I'm really excited for them because I've actually heard nothing but good reviews about these books, and I think that's kind of rare, especially from this author, because I've never heard of Rebecca Ross before this series. I'm not even really sure if she's had any other books out, or if these are like her, debut novels, but I do know that this is a YA series, which is perfectly fine with me. I really love YA books. I just feel like they're so simple and fun, and like, I don't know, I feel like you just can't go wrong with them sometimes. Sometimes YA books can be like a really good palate cleanser for certain things. And so, yeah, I am really, really excited for these. And now, finally, the very last book that I want to read in 2025 is actually on Kindle Unlimited. I do not have the physical copies of these books. And that is the first book in the Zodiac Academy series, The Awakening. And I am so surprised I haven't heard of this series before. Like, I just discovered what the Zodiac Academy was a couple of months ago, and it sounds like everything that I'm interested in. From what I have heard about the Zodiac Academy, it is about two twins named Tori and Darcy Vega, and they end up going to like this magical university of some sort, and there's like apparently like vampires and like I guess werewolves and sirens and things like that, and it is a very adult book, and apparently it's a bully romance. I've never read a bully romance before, but I heard that as the books go on, it's not as scary as it sounds, because I definitely will say I have heard that the first book in the series is kind of a lot when it comes to the bullying, but I really want to give it a chance just because, I don't know, like, I feel like this series has become so big. I also know that the Twisted Sisters, they call them, the two authors, they have other books in like the Zodiac Academy world, and that their latest book is actually called Neverkeep. I have seen that around in stores, and I do want to read it, but I feel like I want to read Zodiac Academy first to get used to the world before jumping into Neverkeep and then, being introduced to a new group of characters in that world. So I'm just really, really excited about it. So this has been my 25 books I want to read in 2025 video. If there were any books on my list that you have read or that you want to read, then please let me know, and I am just really, really excited for this. As I said earlier in the video, I do plan to do a lot of reading vlogs for these books. So please stay tuned for that. I don't plan on doing them in any specific order, so I feel like that could be a really nice surprise. And yeah, I'm just really excited. I feel like I'm really going to challenge myself this year with how many books I read. And honestly, even if I don't get to all of these books, just the thought of getting at least half done will be a really big achievement for me. Like, if I were to finish Throne of Glass and just be done with the list from this video, then honestly I would be really happy with it still, because it's still books that I get to knock off the list. And I don't know, it's just, I just really am excited to see my physical TBR go down, because I definitely think my New Year's resolution and my goal for this channel is to film a lot of physical TBR reading vlogs and related videos, just to get my TBR down. And I really feel like this list will be getting my most intimidating books out of the way. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you stayed to the end and that you just had fun watching this video as much as I had fun filming it. So this has been Kiara's Bookshelf. Thank you so much for watching.